All right, we are live. So, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to This Weekend Loaded. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, you're not losing your minds. This is This Weekend Loaded. We have a wrestling pay per view this weekend. So, as per the norm, we are going to go live with this show on Saturday with the pay per view watch along being tomorrow night. And in here with us so far, we have the Kingpin himself. How are you, Mike? Yeah, just pizza made got here while I was doing the intro. So, all right, well, let's see who's out there in the chat. Well, we got Kingpin and Krabby Turtle. So, evening out there, turtle person who thinks he's a crab at the same time. Oh, and there's Chris from the 740. Just popped in. So, evening, Chris. Yeah, Kingpin told me a little bit before we went live that he was ordering a pizza. He had just ordered a pizza, so he may have had to have gone to the door to get that. Yep. Let's see. Biden signed the bill today, the trader bill, I like to call it, with the red flag flaws and incentives and all that stuff. If you didn't watch Sandhill's show on Thursday night, I decided that I'm gonna instead of calling them red flag laws, I'm gonna call them red flag flaws. Ah, not he said not the pizza yet. It's the roommate and the dogs. Okay, yeah, that kind of stuff happens too. Yeah. Roommates, family, it happens. I think everybody who's done one of these live shows has had somebody interrupt at some point. It doesn't uh, go on affecting anybody. It it happens to all of us. Is what I'm trying to say, just in the weirdest way possible. So yeah, and there's got somebody else popping in. It's the show's co-host, Mr. Jason Stewart. How are you tonight, Jason?
Doing good, guys, man. Sorry I'm late. Hanging out over with G23 and the guys.
hmm Who's like Kinkin says the icon isn't showing. Who's Jason's or mine?
Yours, Rich.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see if I can fix that.
How you doing, Kickbear?
Is it working now?
Yeah, it's got obnoxious this picture. Now
I
it
just
don't
switched.
have any.
Yeah. I wonder why that one isn't showing. It's showing on my end. Hmm. Yeah, because I had flipped it to obnoxiouses and then went back to mine. There it
Yeah, it's
is.
got a empty circle with like the little Windows picture icon broken in the top corner of it.
Is it working now?
No, but we'll see if there's a delay. Well, yep, now you're good.
Okay. Never fails, right? Oh, some kind of technical issue. The fence dad's out there now. We've been the fence dad.
Good evening, Krabby, Chris, Defense Dad.
And I was telling Kingpin about how you sent the money because you asked me before the show if we still need to do that. I told him you said he's like maybe we can tell Jason and Buck that we need new guns and maybe Jason will send us a Beretta.
Oh, I'm always willing to help a brother out, man. Always willing. You ought to know better than that.
So does that mean you will send a Beretta?
You know, if it was serious about it, I guess I could afford to lose a one or two.
Hey man, I'm always up for getting a new gun. God knows the prices, the gas prices and shit right now. I probably ain't gonna be able to buy one for a while. Yeah,
Yeah, gas is killing me. I don't want to talk about it though, get depressed.
mm,
But it's so hard to keep. I used to never go below a half a tank, ever. I just would never do it. Man,
yeah.
now
That's
it's
what my
hard to
wife.
keep a quarter of a tank in it, man. One day I was on my way to the gas station, but I took it all the way down to my fuel light came on. I was like, oh my God, I think in 12 years that truck might only had its fuel light come on once.
Yeah, my wife's the same way. She hates having the gas get to a certain point. She'll let it go between a half and a fourth usually, and then she's got to go fill up.
Well, I tell you, a thing about modern cars, your electric fuel pumps inside your gas tank. What is the enemy of electric motors and pumps? It's called heat. And
Hmm.
believe it or not, that fuel in that tank keeps that pump cool. And
Hmm.
anything below a quarter of a tank, you're actually allowing that pump to warm up. So, like if you're a person that drives on a quarter of a tank or less all the time, maybe your fuel pump goes out at 100,000 miles or 150,000 miles. But if you're a person that keeps it plenty of gas in it and it's cool, you might get 300,000 miles out of that fuel pump.
It's just a general rule of thermodynamics. Liquid's cool unless it
Plus,
does.
plus, so many people around here forget about what happens when it gets 0 degrees outside and cold. People
Hmm.
got no gas in their car and their gas freeze, even though you told them and warned them 100 times. And then their pumps broke and their lines are split. So it's always good to keep gas in your car.
Yeah. So how was your day today? Or did I ask you already? God, I don't even remember.
Oh, I've had a good day, man. I slept in late because I was up late. Uh, didn't get to go to the range, but maybe tomorrow. But I just kind of been hanging out all day. Nice weather, nice and warm.
Yeah, before we went live, Kingpin was also telling me about he couldn't believe all the detail I got into a 10-minute video on a belt.
Yeah, man. Can't you flip it upside down so the little buttons at the top?
Yeah, but then I'm not left-handed, so it's still I'm not used to wearing a belt lefty. I mean, it's great if you're left-handed for that reason. I mean, but they could have put that at the top too. I mean, it's, there's no reason why there couldn't be one at that little knob thing at the top of it too. Yeah, and you could do it both. You could do that way too. 'Cause what happens if you injure your arm, or like say your left arm's injured, right? And you only have like you break your arm or something, and you're trying to get it undone with your right hand. It's a lot harder to do with that only being at the bottom. If it was at the top as well, you could push that in and get your belt off still. I demonstrated in the video how you could do it with your left hand if you wore it upside down. But if you were to like break your left arm, you can't. You wouldn't. That won't do you any good anyway.
I think I'm going to order one of these belts called the Foundation Belt. I think that's what it's called. Um, it doesn't have any belt buckle. It's like overlaps with Velcro.
I'd be worried about the Velcro catching on something.
It's something like that. It's got its own thing like that where it just wraps over. Uh, I think I'm going to try one of those. I've seen some good reviews on those. It's only $50 too, but you can get it sized, get it sized exactly how you want it that way. You know what I mean? Uh,
Well, this
uh,
one you can too. I mean,
well, I know
this
the
one goes.
ratchet thingy, but
Yeah,
this doesn't
this
have a
one.
belt, or it just seems more comfortable and flexible without a belt buckle
Well,
and stuff
the
like
belt
that.
buckle is actually pretty. Is really comfortable. It's not much wider than the belt itself is, and
Yeah,
it
well,
doesn't stick out super far.
I also got a $10 coupon for this belt, so it's only gonna be $40.
I forget how much these ones run. Look and see while we're waiting for Keith.
You guys keep making concessions for these people, and we're not going to get away from them. And more lefties will show up. And look, I'm left-handed. I need special attention.
Huh?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. This belt does have a belt loop, but you are a buckle. You put the belt through it and then pull it through, and then it
Oh, okay.
velcros.
That makes more sense. Yeah, this one would, if you were to buy this one from them, the exact one I'm wearing right now and did the video on, it would be $59.95. Oh wait, no, that ain't that one. That's the that's the web.
Okay, this belt's made out of scuba gear webbing.
It, and for those of you that did watch it, I just found their belt protector on their website. It's $3.95, not $3. So it would be $4 for that. But I'd still recommend that for the belt if you're getting a leather. Even if you're just getting a standard a leather belt from any manufacturer, I still would recommend getting their belt protector sleeve. You can buy it individually. And you can get it it's only for a 1.5 inch belt though. They don't have it in a 1 3/4 inch. But if you're wearing a leather belt for carry and you're using anything with a polymer or a metal clip type holster, yeah, keep your belt looking good. Get that belt protector sleeve. There's no reason not to. It's only like I said, it's only $4, and it does what it's supposed to.
Okay, the one I'm looking at is from the EDC Belt Company, but it's through Langdon Tactical.
Mm.
Says it's comfortable. Looks pretty basic. Looks pretty lightweight. It's definitely not a dress belt of any type.
Yeah, like I said in the video, I intentionally asked them to send this one when they asked me which one I wanted because of the fact that you don't see very many people doing reviews on the dressier style belts. They all want to go with the more tactical type. So I figured, do something different and maybe get more views that way or something. I don't know. Yeah, it's $59.95 for this one. Yeah, so you're looking at $60 with free shipping if you pay if you spend over $100. And they have where you can buy like two belts for I forget what they have that are mix and match 2 packs and stuff. So anyway, I think one of these days I'm gonna have to do a VersaCarry review on my VersaCarry holster because I keep accidentally starting to do one in the last couple in the two belt videos I did. It's like, no, wait, I digress. This is not a review on this holster. Let's go back to the belt. So, did you get one of the web belts, Chris? He said he's happy with the core belt he has.
Yeah, I was just reading that. Yeah, I've heard about the core belts for years and everybody praising them. Uh, I need to try one.
Like I said, I'm wearing it right now. I mean, it's a nice belt. Get the money, I might order one of their web belts and try that too. There's but good. You're
I
gonna say
wish they
something?
made wish they made jeans with a holster hooked to it, so you didn't even have to wear a belt.
There was a company that did. I can't remember the name of the company. Ghost had him on his channel a year and a half, 2 years ago.
Yeah, just so like
Somewhere.
a pocket and I put like
Yeah,
a Kydex insert I could take in and out to throw it in the washing machine.
yeah. Like it had like an extra deep pocket in the right pocket where you had like a pocket holster kind of set up, but you could carry like a full size Glock 19 size handgun in there.
I remember that.
Hey, you happy to see me? Is that a Glock in your pants?
Yeah, gee, Ghost did that. Man, that's been a couple of years now.
Yeah,
You have a good memory, Rich.
Budget Budget's got a video with some type of clothing that has got built-in holster deal as well.
might have been the same company.
Might have been, yeah. What else do you keep on your belt then, Chris? Since it's, man, I imagine that a gun can't weigh that much. I know. Do you got your cell phone and your other tools and stuff all hanging from the same belt?
Well, if he was using it for competition, so he probably had some extra mags on there and a mag
Yeah.
carrier and stuff like that.
The
Yeah.
last one he said, he says every day
Yeah.
it can hold a lot of weight.
Hmm.
Uh, uh, I'll put it out there, man. I asked Chris how his day went today at the match, and he got fifth place. So,
Heck yeah,
congratulations on that.
very
Good
nice.
job.
Congratulations, sir.
Yeah, he was carrying three 33 round mags on it today. So yeah, that's a good bit of weight right there.
Yeah.
Were those rifle or handgun?
He's
He's
shooting 9
PCC.
millimeter.
It shoots PCC, so
So a combination of both.
yeah, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a rifle that shoots pistol rounds. So
Krabby, Krabby's cleaning his soul out one Glock at a time.
Very nice. Very nice. A born again Christian. See Squippy's video about shooting a Glock?
did he
Yeah.
actually shoot a Glock?
Yeah, I told him make sure you washed your hands when you was done.
So he was firing the Glock. He wasn't shooting at the Glock.
Oh no, yeah, he was actually in command of a firearm
Okay.
made out of plastic,
I took
shooting
Nice.
projectiles down range at a target.
I took the 10 millimeter Glock G20, the Glock 19, the G23 to the range last weekend, and I probably shot best with the 10 millimeter, but they like the Glock 19 that's supposed to be like, you know, throw all other guns away because the Glock 19 is what it was. Those things aren't very good. I'm not, I know it's all funny to bust on Glocks and all that kind of stuff, but they're really not that good of a gun.
Yeah, at work, Chris says he carries his pistol in a holster for Leatherman on his belt.
Krabby says the last Glock he sold got his first 1911. Congratulations, sir.
He also said that Colt was magnificent, Jason. Yeah, that one.
Yes, she is.
Yeah, that's bad.
Picture doesn't do it justice, man, but that is chrome shiny. As you can see, it is flawless on the texture, the appearances. This is a nice one Colt made.
Was that the
I
one
got
you were polishing yesterday?
Yeah, I got all the internals polished to like chrome. The hammer, the sear, the trigger bow, the barrel. I polished the chamber, the breech face, firing pin, even the tip of the strut rod. Uh, this thing's polished and smooth inside. Believe me. Polished the outside really nice and shiny, but they just did a really good job on this. Fit and finish is really good. The grip safety is really good. Just everything about it. But one of the things I love the most is this undercut right here on this trigger guard.
Yeah.
That just feels so nice. I mean, your finger when they wrap around here, it just blends up in there nice and high. You can't feel anything. There's no sharp edges. These all transition just beautiful, man. You can't really tell it right here, but if I flipped it upside down on its edge, there is multiple transitions and surfaces right here to make this cut blend and flow right in with that. That is very smooth. They did a really, really good job. You don't feel this at all on your knuckles. And this is an extra wide trigger. This trigger is exactly as wide as that frame of the gun is. The trigger guard there. It's double the width of a normal trigger. It's just there. It fits nice. It's tight. This whole setup in this area right here really changes this gun hugely. It just the feel and the grip. It's amazing with that. Now that's an expensive deal. To send that in and get that cut, that checkery, and that's like well over $400 for them to do that. So, I mean, it seems crazy, but that is almost a game changer right there.
Yeah, it really is a nice looking gun. So, what else do we talk about? We talk about what happened out in Arizona. You guys see that?
What happened in Arizona?
No, there was a riot out in Phoenix at this state senate building. I got a story here. Good, Jason. You would say something?
No.
Okay. Yeah. Arizona abortion protest. Police released tear gas. Lawmakers held hostage in Senate building. Not literally, but figuratively. Arizona state lawmakers were forced to finish voting in a secure room in the Capitol. Law enforcement officers in Phoenix, Arizona used tear gas to break up a sizable group of protesters outside the state's Senate building following the U.S. Supreme Court's decision to overturn the landmark abortion ruling Roe v. Wade. Protesters threatened to break the Arizona Senate entry glass, Republican Arizona State Senator Wendy Rogers tweeted, as members were in the middle of voting on a series of bills. The situation escalated into a hostage situation as lawmakers were instructed not to exit the building, Republican Arizona State Senator Kelly Townsend said. The Republican caucus of the state Senate later called the protests an attempted insurrection, much more so than what was happening on January 6th anyway. We are currently there being held hostage inside the Senate building due to members of the public trying to breach our security, Townsend tweeted Friday night. We smell tear gas and the children of one of the members are in the office sobbing with fear. I expect the G24 committee to be created immediately, she added, referencing the January 6th committee that is investigating the breach of the U.S. Capitol building on January 6, 2021. Is it really a breach if the Capitol Police were letting them in, though? Let's be honest. The state's Attorney General, Mark Brnovich, I guess is how you pronounce that, said that this wasn't a peaceful or lawful protest. An angry mob who faced the Arizona Peace Officers Memorial last night after being dispersed from the state capitol. This wasn't a peaceful or lawful protest, Brnovich said. We must never tolerate these criminal attempts to tear down our institutions and intimidate our officials. According to the lawmakers, the law enforcement officers then deployed tear gas to disperse the crowds and gain control of the building. The crowd was dispersed with tear gas, Rogers added, noting that protests were still continuing and the situation remained very dangerous. Another lawmaker confirmed the use of tear gas outside the building. While working inside, we were interrupted by the sound of bangs and the smell of tear gas, Rep. Sarah Liguori tweeted Friday evening. Protesters cleared from the Capitol. Heavily armed officers were seen in and around the legislative building. The crowd of protesters dispersed and lawmakers resumed their legislative schedule in a secure room. We are headed to a secure room to go vote, Rogers said. Everyone is okay and we're finishing our work, Townsend added. Feeling safe at the Capitol as I sit by three of my fellow senators who are armed, added Arizona State Senator Warren Peterson. And show a picture of people, see it right there, the one state senator's got his handgun there, which is smart. You got to protect yourself, right? In the hours following the situation, several members thanked the law enforcement officials who protected the Capitol. God bless you guys, exclaimed Townsend. We are safe inside. God bless law enforcement, Rogers said. The Republican caucus of the state Senate also commended law enforcement for preventing an insurrection. Violent pro-abortion protesters' attempts of an insurrection at the Arizona State Senate were thwarted Friday night thanks to the swift actions from local and state law enforcement, said Kim Quintero. Can any of these people have an easy name? The Republican caucus communications director. The GOP group said the external demonstrations were carried out by people forcibly trying to make entry to the building by breaking windows and pushing down doors. We are incredibly thankful for our local law enforcement who quickly intervened during what could have been a destructive and dangerous situation for our members, staff, and public inside the Senate, said Senate President Karen Fann. Friday was the last day of the session for the state senators who wrapped up a series of votes after the disruption. The votes included a massive expansion of the state's private school voucher system that passed the House earlier this week. The U.S. Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade Friday afternoon, effectively giving individual states the power to allow, limit, or ban the practices they see fit. As of June 24th, Planned Parenthood of Arizona paused all abortions, both medical and surgical. Okay. 7 of the 9 licensed providers in the state immediately halted abortions, according to Arizona Central. So you got Arizona is a big state. They have all of 9 abortion centers in the whole state. Abortion's just not as big as what they. I mean, it's big, but
So, I get the people are protesting and unhappy on their side. But what's Arizona's stance? Are they now going to outlaw abortion? Or
that's the next paragraph.
Or does this protest actually show their stupidity and it means nothing?
Yeah. The next paragraph talks about what they have on the law as of right now. Arizona has competing laws that either completely ban the procedure or limit it to 15 weeks after a woman becomes pregnant. Arizona Governor Doug Ducey signed a law limiting abortions to 15 weeks in March. The old law, created in Arizona's territorial days, strictly prohibits abortion. It also calls for a mandatory prison sentence of 2 to 5 years for violators. The only exception to the ban is for abortions that are necessary to save a woman's life. Excuse me. The state Senate The Republican majority said Friday that the old law totally banning abortion is enforceable. For now, it remains unclear which law will take precedence. The state court system, likely the Arizona Supreme Court, will have to settle the issue. At least 13 states previously passed so-called trigger laws, which ban most abortions following the High Court's decision. These will take effect immediately or within the weeks of Roe v. Wade being overturned. These states include Arkansas, Idaho, Kentucky, Louisiana, Mississippi, Missouri, North Dakota, Oklahoma, South Dakota, Tennessee, Texas, Utah, and Wyoming, according to Guttmacher Institute, a pro-abortion rights research group.
I saw a map on the news today, and they showed Ohio was projected to ban abortions.
Yeah,
I
they're
didn't
already
really, I really didn't see what West Virginia was,
they're
but
working on that now.
um, from the looks of the map, they had three different colors. They had like, we'll probably ban it, uh, probably will not ban it, like New York and places, and then a third one may have restrictions or whatever. But I heard him mention it, and it sounded to me, and it kind of looked like to me at the map that more than half the states would probably outright ban it.
Yeah.
There's your majority right there. If you want the
hmm
people to truly speak and you believe in the majority when it's on your side of things, well, here's the majority on this issue.
Yeah, absolutely. And Krabby says, and not a single protester was murdered at that insurrection. And one point that Fox News did cover in their article, according to the one state senator, the reason why they all left the Senate floor was because not only could they smell it, but in certain areas it was starting to overwhelm some of the senators that were closest to the vents because the tear gas was coming in through the air conditioning system from the outside. And potentially some of the protesters were pulling with the ventilation system in some way. And when the police launched the tear gas at those protesters, it got sucked into the air conditioning.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll just get worse. But you got to look. I would truly believe, like maybe on an issue that I would be compelled to protest with, I feel like it would be an issue that there would be other like minded people like myself, and we could agree and agree strongly on this issue. But when I look at these crowds and the people in there protesting this, uh, the things they carry, the outfits they wear, the signs, the things they say, um, that can't be real. That can't be the. These people are paid actors. This is well funded. Um, a lot of it's on the very edge of lunacy. I saw a young woman the other day, a young mother, with her not a baby doll, her real baby, carrying it on her hip and holding it on her arm. Little skinny, early 20s mother got a baby less than a year old draped on her, and she's got a sign and she's crying and screaming about the right to have an abortion. Well, apparently you don't believe in the right to have an abortion. You got your own child right there. Uh,
How
I think in some of their signs, I just think it's so ridiculous on their argument and some of the things. It's a show. It's propaganda. It's put on. Um, it just gives that feeling to me, man. It's truly not. It's just so outrageous and so out there as the things that they demand and protest and act like that. It's a script. It just has to be a script.
how dare you? You don't know how many abortions she had when she was a teenager.
And I said this earlier, but uh, you know, this all this news about Roe versus Wade and abortion and pro-life, and they always stick a woman's right to choose and a woman's body and health, and Not one time out of any of this do you hear anything about the father's rights or that baby's rights. None of it. None of it. All of it's trumped by a woman's health, a woman's right. You know what I mean? Well, yeah, we all have our rights, and a woman and a man's no different. You have the same rights. That child has a right too. Uh, I just think if you really wanted to have the discussion, and those people on the pro side want to have their discussion, is let's include the father. Let's include a voice for that child in this discussion, because that is so lame, and everybody I think is tired of hearing of it. A woman's choice, a woman's choice. You don't have the choice of life or death. That is not an authority granted to you because you have a vagina.
Yeah, they keep saying about, oh, this was a decision by white men. I guess Clarence Thomas and Amy Barrett Cohen don't are white men. You know, that's I looked. Clarence Thomas was black, and Amy Barrett Cohen, she was woman.
Well, also, I love their slogan. If you don't have a vagina, you don't get to regulate one. Well, I'll agree with you. Like I say, if you don't have an AR-15, you don't have the right to regulate one.
Real quick programming note: Wesley Foster's joined us. No, Wesley's generally here for the wrestling chat. Past couple shows. Saturday is normally the wrestling day, but tonight we're doing Rich's regular Sunday night show because tomorrow we're going to be watching some Japanese wrestling pay per view. They'll join us tomorrow night.
Yeah, tomorrow night we're going to be doing a watch along for the AEW New Japan Forbidden Door pay per view.
And thank you, Jason and Buck.
And Stacy's out there as well. So evening, Stacy.
But no, Jason, some of the people with the megaphones and some of the people handing out the signs are the paid protesters who've got a script. But the vast majority of those people, like your girl holding the baby or the big, fat, disgusting, blue-haired chick that wouldn't, is probably a virgin anyway, probably die that way. Those people are insane, man. That's you can't. That's why don't ever argue with any of these people. Don't talk to any of these people. Don't spend time with any of these people. You're wasting your time, and it's all arrogance. All of us that want to run out and talk to this super anti-gun person or this, person who wants to make abortions mandatory for everybody at least 5 times in your life. We want to run over and talk to them because we're egotistical and narcissistic. And both of those traits make us stupid because those people hate your guts and they have no desire to hear anything that you got to say at all. And in 5 minutes, the person standing there right next to them calling you a Nazi scumbag, those people are going to disagree about a small little minute detail and they'll hate each other. So these people are that brainwashed and broken and brain dead.
Yeah, the ones that you see at the protests doing this kind of shit, they're not the ones that you can talk to at work. Like you can sit there and have a legitimate discussion, like during lunch or something. These people are
You can't
they're
have
as far to the, out of control as you can imagine.
you
Yeah,
can't have a legitimate discussion with any of them. None of them. The legitimate discussion that you're going to have, once again, first and foremost, would be with your friend.
That's what I'm talking about, like your coworkers, your friends, and stuff like that.
No,
Not,
your coworkers.
not all your I'm not saying all your
that's
coworkers.
next to you. Your
I'm
friend.
talking about the ones that you would go and eat your lunch with. I'm not talking about like the one with purple hair who
I beat
has
that dude.
5 rings in her nose.
Oh man, I seen a meme the other day. This guy put cat food and some type of real spicy, like mayonnaise or something, like some French or Japanese something it's mayonnaise, but it's like hotter than habanero. And he said, "This is for the person that keeps stealing my lunch at work." Oh man.
Yeah, Wesley Foster says that he's here for this chat too. So.
Cool. Well, I was glad to have you.
Man, I worked at a job where you used to get your lunch stole all the time if you left it sit out. Uh, Believe it or not, by a family of raccoons.
Oh,
Uh,
that's acceptable.
we had a big. This building was like 600 foot long, and it was steel rebar shop. And we got in, you know, millions, actually millions of pounds of steel rebar. Had it in rack systems, just stacked everywhere you could fit it in that huge building. And I ran a shear. I cut it down to size. There was only a few machines in there, chop it down, and a few bending machines. And we pump out rebar that they use for highway departments, for the bridges, for the roads, things like that. But big old building, very old. A lot of broken out windows, holes in the roof, leaky stuff. But anyways, there would be like families of raccoons living there, and like they'd scoot behind the forklifts and stuff, and they you really didn't have much problem with too much during the day. But we was on night shift, and have a girlfriend bring up McDonald's, right? So that was my lunch. She brought me a pack of cigarettes and a McDonald's lunch, and I set it right at a picnic table inside the door, and went back out the car, give her a kiss and say, thanks, and come back in. And the whole entire McDonald's bag was gone, but my cigarettes was still sitting there. And any person, human that worked in that place, they would have stole my cigarettes before they stole my lunch. And I was like, son of a bitch. And a little later, dude come hollering at me, come over here, and I looked over. They had my lunch bag all tore apart from McDonald's there, raccoons, and were scurrying with it and had it over in a corner and stuff. So like, they were scoping me out, man. The moment I set my bag down, went outside for 30 seconds, somebody swooped in and stole the whole thing.
We've been joined by Squib. How you tonight, Squib? Air Squib?
I'm nowhere near the mute button. You guys always call me when I'm trying to eat or drink, or when I'm on a ladder, or my hands are covered in grease, or some asshole standing in front of me telling me that they broke something for the 15th time in a row and they don't know why it keeps happening. Yeah. I mean, thanks for the link. Yeah, that's what I meant.
So you at work on Saturday?
Saturday, Sunday, every fucking day there is, man. If they add an 8th day of the week, they'll have me here.
Secretly, we've got a camera following Squib around, so that's why we only call on him when like forklift guys around. Like
you
that.
Fuckers might. You might.
We have a little drone that you can't see that's
No,
following
no.
you around everywhere.
No, we hacked his phone. We're using the phone, the camera
The
on his
phone
phone.
GPS.
Everywhere
The
he
phone-
goes,
yeah.
we go with him.
Nano machines. We actually see through his eyes.
Good job on that range video and pointing out the differences in the facts. I enjoyed that.
And not exactly my best work. You're not going to like the next few videos either.
I thought the Glock video was pretty good, actually.
There's more Glock coming.
They'll threaten us.
So show him the one you got yesterday, Jason. If he hasn't seen it.
Okay, just a second.
So while Jason's looking for that, you guys think there's going to be any prosecutions or any kind of Senate, U.S. Senate hearings over the insurrection in Phoenix yesterday?
Probably not. Not unless some new wave Republicans are elected.
Hey, guess Squibby, can you see that? Make it big, Rich.
It is.
Is that a Colt
Yeah,
70
No.
series?
it's a Gold Cup trophy.
Yeah.
Check out the undercut on that trigger right there, man. The Magwell.
Gold Cup trophy, huh?
Yeah, it's a nice one, man. It really is. This one's a nice one.
Shot a Gold Cup once. Really nice. Really nice.
I really like this one. I know Kingpin really likes those blue grips on stuff. And I don't have a pair of blue grips. This is my first ones. And I like it, man. I think it's beautiful.
Yeah, it really is a nice looking pistol you got. But you got to do some 911s for other people, man. You keep buying them all lately.
I'll say it. We shot my Gold Cup, the black one, national match. It's a different gun than this. It's more traditional, old-fashioned style hammer, grip safety, stuff like that. That gun is what you would actually call a tack driver. It shoots through the same holes with little effort. It's fantastic shooting, so I expect nothing less than that out of this gun.
I find myself, CNT Designs has joined us. I find myself considerably more accurate, like by far the most accurate with my 1911s. The Ruger SR19 shoots a little bit better than the Kimber, but I mean, a 1911 for whatever reason, I'm really really good at paper touching. I'm doing a bunch of like tactical stuff.
Everybody says Glocks are easy to shoot. Bullshit. 1911s are easy to shoot.
Yeah, a lot of people are like that. Chris from 740. He doesn't have that much experience behind a 1911, and what he does is not 45 ACP, and he was stacking them right on top of each other, holes right through the same holes, and his son had no experience with them at all, and he shot some other ones I had, and did very good, but when he got on that Gold Cup, he was putting them in there right on top of each other too, at least half the magazine, and he like had no experience at all with a 1911. He told me he could never shoot one without the pin safety like his dad's. He couldn't even get the grip safeties to work, and he picked up that Gold Cup, and like I'm literally, I mean, on the bullseye targets, you're just expanding the same hole a little bit, nicking the outside edge. You're not an inch away. You're not, close to it. It's tearing out the same holes, man. That gun is extremely accurate.
That gun's probably more accurate than any of the people that were shooting it.
Yeah, most definitely. But when you get one that's very accurate, it just makes it that much easier to shoot. Of course, they have adjustable sights. You know what I mean? Some 1911s will shoot repeatedly in the same spot, but their sights don't exactly match point of aim. You know what I mean? That's sometimes you have that, some combinations. Generally, you're pretty good with Novak style sights of being true, but like if you get an old government model that's got a fixed front sight and those little tiny sights in the back, you got to aim at like what they call a 6 o'clock hold. You got to aim low, 4 inches, 6 inches. It will hit repeatedly there, but you have to aim low. If you put the sights on the target, you miss. So, a modern 45 with some decent sights, it should perform well at the pistol range. You know what I mean? They just should. And if they don't, then I don't know. There's issues like my Smith and Wesson. Some guns just ain't no good.
I think that people are intimidated. First thing they notice is how heavy it is, which to me it isn't heavy at all. But to some people, oh, it's heavy. Then the next thing is the manual safety, which, by the way, you can just leave it off. I'm not saying remove it. I just mean leave it in the off position. Nothing requiring you to put it on or whatever. But if they started off with one of these things with a dingus and no safety, then they think all guns should be like that. And it's like, look, it's like a seatbelt. Other than that dinging alarm, you don't have to wear it. So that's really not an issue. And then I think some people are they're sensitive to recoil, that 45 recoil, and I don't really consider it to have any kick. I just don't. I mean, you get a smaller gun, like a Commander style or something like that, yeah, you're going to have more felt recoil.
Yeah.
Some people shoot the 9s, right? Because there's less recoil, or is it because the ammo's cheaper?
Probably a little of both, I would think.
I think a 1911, maybe it takes, if you're a modern day shooter, if you buy a lot of polymer guns or striker fire guns, I think maybe it's just too much of a change. But I think if you spent more time on a 1911, you'd fall right in love with them, fall right in line, have no issues with things like grip safeties and thumb safeties and stuff. I think it would just be more time on them. It's really a lot. I mean, I don't know how you just don't enjoy that gun, especially when they shoot accurately. Maybe people that don't like 1911s just haven't had enough experience on one, but I recommend them for everyone. I mean, if I was president, I'd issue them at birth to people.
Yeah, I don't get the grip safety thing. If you're holding the gun, then you're depressing the grip safety. It's as simple as that. You don't have to hold it a certain way. You don't have to have certain size hands. You don't have to do anything extra. You literally hold it and the grip safety is off. Mm-hmm. So now I have heard one person one time say, well, that's one more thing that could break. Really? You want to go there? Because that dingus on the Glock is the same. Well, it's only got one safety. This one's got two. That's more things. Okay, from a certain standpoint, yes, having something with too much engineering in it does kind of leave more things to break, make it more complicated. But this design's been around for 111 years or something. Actually, really, it goes back to the 1903. But the design's been around. I mean, if it was that big of an issue, they would have removed the grip safety a long time ago. So it's not an issue.
Yeah, I don't know how it could break. It's when you take it apart. That's besides the barrel and slide things like that. That's one of the biggest, heaviest chunks of material in the gun, and it really does nothing more than it has a hole for the pin on the safety levers. It holds it in, but basically just has a pivot point on a pin, and it's that whole big chunk functionally just reduces itself down to a little edge on a little arm that sticks off, and it just physically blocks the trigger bow from pulling backwards. If you broke the tip off of that somehow, the gun would still fire. It doesn't work any other parts or anything. It simply has a little step lip on a little arm that sticks out, and it either blocks the trigger from physically moving backwards, or it lifts up just slightly enough to let the trigger bow pass by. It's not a mechanical operation with pins, springs, levers, hooks, none of that. It's basically just a hunk of metal that blocks the trigger from physically moving rearward, and it pushes out of the way, and it only takes 1/16 of an inch or something is all it's touching. It moves out of the way, and that gun will fire.
That's the same way the grip safety on the Shield EZ works, exactly the second way you described it. It just lets the trigger go by without engaging the components inside to fire the gun.
The grip safety from the 380 EZ.
What was that? You broke up a little there.
The grip safety on the 380 EZ is dumb.
No, there's reasons why it's there.
But they're dumb.
I will say that's a strange grip safety on that. Just a big, flat, square, ugly thing.
I think a lot of people are either brainwashed or programmed, or I don't know what the psychology behind it is, but I've been curious ever since the beginning of my firearm conversations like this, like in-depth firearms conversations, when people talk about recoil, and barring you've got an injury or some type of physical disability or something like that, 40, 45, 9mm, 380, pistol pump recoil, 357. Now, like I said, if you got like Squid mentioned, if you got like a 2-inch barrel and you're shooting 45 or 357, yeah, it's gonna snap and stuff like that. If you got an average size gun, 357s doesn't have a lot of recoil. 45 doesn't have a lot of recoil. It's just, and then the Jason was talking about, this is gonna break, and this, and Squid mentioned, I want a safety. I don't want a safety. A lot of these conversations, like the arguments that people make for this kind of stuff, don't make any sense most of it. At least from my perspective, because I pick up a 1911 45 and it's zero recoil whatsoever.
Okay, so let me make it, or let me give it something that might help it make sense to you. So you have the one person who has to have everything in their life validated. And if you don't agree with them, it's a fight. It doesn't even matter if it's something important. It doesn't matter if it's something that's going to affect them or everybody else. You just have to agree that the car they drive is the best car, the place they live is the best place, the job they work is the best job, the gun they carry is the best gun, that sort of thing. They're that person. Okay, so you've got that one. The other personality is the personality who stands up for themselves. They don't really care if you agree with them, but when you start saying you're wrong and you're dumb and you're doing it wrong and you don't know what you're talking about, that's where the person's going to go, I don't have to take this shit from you. So when somebody tells you you shouldn't carry a 45, why? Well, because it's a waste of money. You can do the same thing with a 9mm, so you're wasting your money. Well, look here, fucker, it's my money, okay? I worked hard for it. If I want to spend more on ammo, I'm going to spend more on ammo. None of your damn business. Now shut the fuck up and move on. But then you'll have the other person going, well, you see, the 9mm is traveling at a higher velocity. Therefore, it's better at penetration, and you can carry more rounds. So therefore, that is the only one you should carry. And carrying a 1911 or carrying anything in a 45 is inefficient and unnecessary. And it's like, dude, really? Are you going to sit here and freaking try facts and figures? If you want to carry a 9, carry a 9. I've got a 9. I've got a couple of them. You know, it's just like striker fire versus hammer fire or whatever. I like hammer fire. Doesn't mean I don't own some striker fire. You know, plastic versus metal. I prefer metal. I've got some plastic ones. It's just, you've got the people that they're so into being right, and they're so bored with their own life, they've got to get into other people's business. And you've got the people who aren't going to tolerate that crap. And that's the argument you get from the gun community. These people that come on their YouTube channel and go, man, we need to stop arguing over 9mm or 45 and come together as a community. Dude, the argument over 9mm and 45 is more of a joke at this point than people being serious. So if you think that's serious, you need to check yourself first. I mean, there's a lot of opinion out there. There's a lot of people that say, well, you need to take this class and you need to have this permit and you need to wear this holster. It's none of your damn business what I do. You know, somebody will say, well, everybody should carry a gun. Really? Okay, well, forcing everybody to carry a gun is just as bad as forcing everybody to not be able to carry a gun. So how does it make you any better than people trying to take away our rights? There's a lot of people out there with a lot of opinion, or they don't think before they speak. They say it the shortest possible way, or it's what sounds catchphrasy or clickbaity or whatever, and it gets misinterpreted, and then it gets parroted. And the next thing you know, it's like, well, I heard YouTuber X say that this is the best caliber ever. So, and then before you know it, you got 100,000 people saying, well, this is the best caliber ever. And where did it come from? You know what I mean? So you're just going to deal with that. I'm sure it's the same thing when people argue over sports or something, right?
Yeah, real quick, we've been joined out there in the chat by G23 and Buck and PN Woods. So, evening, gentlemen.
Lately, I've been shooting a lot of 185 grain round flat nose 45 ACP, and I'm really liking that cartridge. Like I don't feel that a 45 has much recoil. May have muzzle flip or rise on you, but I don't believe it has any harsh recoil of any kind, as long as you don't have sharp edges on like your mainspring housing or something that you notice. I think 45 ACP, it's got it's got more thump to it than a 9mm, but it's not like a Magnum cartridge of any sense. But 185 grain is a lot of fun to shoot. I've been really enjoying it. I was kind of surprised when I first started using it. It might have a little less recoil thump to it in your hands, but it seems like at the same time it's got less thump, but it just seems like that bullet's traveling faster, and the accuracy's there, man. I'm really liking that cartridge. It's pretty sweet. I mainly only shoot the big 230 grain ball ammo, but man, those little 185 grain flat points, they just seem to be accurate. They seem to fly good. Maybe you could shoot a little faster because it's just a little less pop to it, but they're definitely fun, man. If you can get a hold of a box of those, I would definitely recommend trying them out.
Wesley Foster said that grip safety was made for cavalry officers during World War I who could fall off their horses and have the gun go off and kill the horse. And then, DM Fox is out there, somebody, and Rob D's out there, somebody else said something. PN Woods said, I've carried a revolver since '93. Love all the young bucks that tell me I'm wrong. And that's another one of the conversations that, like, I get, like Squib was saying, the comedy about it and, giving each other a hard time about it, that's all fun. But when people are like, oh, you're stupid, you carry a revolver, you're going to get your family killed. I don't understand all that's pretty stupid. I was surprised how low the recoil was in that when 1911s, but I've only shot 2. DM Fox said that. 357 and a 2-inch barrel is fun to shoot. That's all crabby.
Yeah, it is. It dance in your hands.
There are people who've never shot a revolver, and they want to start talking about how revolvers are, or that's the old-timey gun, and this and that. And it, depending on how you use it, depending on what kind it is, you can find advantages in that revolver over a semi-auto, just like you can find advantages in a semi-auto over a revolver. There's a lot of people out there that capacity. It's all about capacity and speed. Capacity and speed are important, but they're not always the most important thing, or they're not. If you know what you're doing, you can still work within lower capacity or less speed or something like that. There's a lot of tactic cool stuff out there, and this is where the parroting comes in. Well, I watched this video, or I went to this school, or the guy at the gun show told me this, and next thing you know, it becomes fact when it's not. It's just an opinion. It's not that there's anything wrong with semi-autos. It's not that there's anything wrong with revolvers. But I think that there are people out there who don't have a lot of experience. They've shot 2 whole fucking guns their whole life, and they think they know everything because, well, they watched a YouTube video or they took a class or something. And it's like, when you have some more experience, you can come back at me. I've been wrong about some things, or I found out that I was maybe doing something in a way that wasn't as safe or wasn't as efficient. And then there's other things that I'm not changing. I have people all the time get critical over how I hold a gun. That's the way I was taught. It's an older technique. There's nothing wrong with it. It works. I actually had one guy say, well, you don't want to hold a gun like that because if it blows up in your hand, it'll injure your hand. And I'm going, why would I be holding the gun to begin with if I thought it was going to blow up? But he learned that probably at some gun show or something where the guy's like, yeah, you want to be careful because that gun might blow up in your hand, or and that's just where some of this bullshit comes from. This is just like the antis coming up with their stuff. What was it? What did Biden say? A 9mm will turn your lungs inside out, or whatever the hell he said.
Rip your lung right out. Yeah, 9mm, rip your lung right out.
Blow the lung out of your body.
There are
22. They could just pick them out.
There are people in our culture who say shit like that all the time, and it's a load of crap. It is. There are some urban legends. There's some things where it's exaggerations, and then there's flat out falsehoods. And then there's other truths out there. And when you put opinion in there and you say, my opinion is a fact, that's where you run into a problem, because your opinion isn't a fact. It's an opinion. And there are so many egotistical people out there that believe that their opinion is a scientific fact. And it's like, no, it isn't. So that's where you run into the problem. And I don't care. We can have the debates and arguments, and I don't care. And I'll just, cuss you out and stop talking to you. I don't care, whatever. But that's just part of it. Some of it's trash talking. Some of it is. And then once again, go back to sports, right? In sports, we trash talk and things like that. That's just how it is. But other stuff, we're not doing our side a favor from the Second Amendment standpoint when we're perpetuating myths and lies and saying things like, oh, this thing will get you killed, or other things like that. And for some people, too, it also has to do with where they live. In their state, they can't own this. Well, they might be going, well, since I can't own it, nobody should own it, right? Or since I can't own it, I've never shot one, they're crap, they're bad. And it's like, dude, live a little, get out of your comfort zone and go somewhere where there's some freedom, shoot this thing, and then come back with an opinion or something. But no, they won't. So, you've got that sort of thing, too. You've got people that live in an area where you could walk down the street with a gun and nobody cares. And you get other places where it's legal to do, but people won't do that because they're afraid or whatever. So there's a lot more that goes into it than just what you read in Guns and Ammo or what you saw in a YouTube video.
Yeah, my favorite one, the exaggerations from the anti-gunners was right after Sandy Hook, when they were trying to convince everybody that an AR-15 could shoot down a jetliner. What was that thing shooting Stinger anti-aircraft missiles?
It weighs as much as 10 moving boxes.
Ozzy was joined it.
Oh, Biden also thinks that AR-15s have 300-round magazines. Yep, even Ozzy.
He also believes you couldn't own a cannon when they wrote the Constitution.
Well,
do the math for me real quick.
Newsflash, Joe. I can have a cannon right now.
Do the math for us real quick, Rich. How big would a standard AR mag have to be if it held 300 rounds?
Oh, you're looking at
the size of a metal lunchbox when you were growing up.
Yeah, you're looking at a yardstick.
No,
if you're going lengthwise. You're going. Yeah, if you're stacking them side by side, yeah. But if you're stacking them lengthwise, almost a yardstick.
Yeah,
at that point, make it belt fed like a squad automatic weapon.
Well, I was thinking like just a regular standard capacity 30-round AR mag, that same shape. Like how long would it have to be to get
almost a yardstick
for 300 rounds? You think it'd be? And then Squibby, you figured the metal lunchbox would be the.
Well, when you said 300 rounds, and it came to mind is a squad automatic weapon, which is 5.56 and has a 200-round box magazine on the side. It's belt fed, but yeah, I didn't understand it. We're talking about just keep the shape of the mag.
Yeah, if you want to go single stack, the standard double stack magazine, 300 rounds. Good Lord.
Well, a PMag, a 30-round PMag is 7.4 inches. Yeah. So it would be 10 of those. So that would be 74 inches of magazine.
Yeah, like Ozzy says, 10 times as big. You take 10 of those magazines and line them up.
You'd be 6'2". 6'2".
Well, I'd add another week's magazine link to it. I would go 81, 82 inches because you're probably going to need a magazine spring that's compressed down to about a foot long right there. So,
Yeah.
uh,
I'm 6'2".
hmm Yeah, you want to be able to get a spring that would be able to reliably feed that magazine.
you could set it on the ground, put your gun on the magazine, and lift up over your head and shoot the rifle.
Yeah, there's a reason why drum magazines generally have a maximum capacity of 100 rounds. Just saying. And even they're not entirely reliable.
Well, see, now you're making the perfect argument for belt-fed ARs. One should not be limited to have to deal with a 6 foot tall magazine. That is not well regulated. That's not
Now,
well able.
yeah,
But
if you
a
go
300 round belt, though,
the
uh,
300 a 300 round drum magazine for an AR-15 would be about as big as a car's hub for their tire. And probably be as heavy as well. When it's fully loaded.
I'm gonna get me a protest sign. It's gonna say belt-fed on demand, on my choice.
I want one of those like Mexican, uh, what do they call suspenders? With the guy with the big cowboy hat and the big guns has got all the ammo
Mhm.
and
Bandolier.
belts.
You're talking about a
Yeah,
band.
the bandolier. Yeah, they're
Yeah,
cross bandoliers. Yeah.
yeah, that's what
Yeah,
I was.
that is totally doable.
hmm
I'll get it in the 17 HMR.
Oh, geez, you can hold 1,000 rounds.
To me, going back to the original conversation, to me, in my humble opinion, the 1911 is what a pistol is supposed to be. But I, I guess I have to be careful with my classification if I'm talking about semi-automatic pistol, not revolver. So I have to make the distinction between them. There you go. That's awesome. That looks like one of those electric car tracks that you used to get when you were a kid. And the car, every time you
Yeah,
go around the
yeah, it looks
curve,
like
the
a
car
slot
would jump off the
car.
track. Krabby put a link out there for you, Jason.
That's the picture I had up. Krabby's link.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. 300 round magazine just isn't something you're going to walk into a store and buy anytime soon. At least not one that's going to be reliable in any sense of the word.
Shit, you're
Oh,
damn lucky to walk in a store and buy 300 rounds.
if you
hmm
got a pickup truck with at least an 8-foot bed, then you could get the thing home. But you drive up there in your Toyota
hmm
Corolla, you can't fit a 6-foot magazine out the windows of your car.
300 round magazine be bigger than your Toyota Corolla.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And if you drive a smart car,
Oh, forget it.
you're gonna need to get a trailer for that thing.
Couldn't pull a trailer with a smart car.
Couldn't fit a 6-round magazine in it either. Got a 6-round magazine in it either.
Damn sure wouldn't fit this magazine in a smart car. No way this will fit. It's too damn small. Do they even make those damn things anymore?
What?
Smart car.
I don't know.
Uh,
I worked for the company that made the seats that went in it.
They used to sell them at the Dodge dealer here, and come to think of it, I haven't seen them out front for several years.
Still see them driving around. I wouldn't know who sold them in the Peroni or what company made them.
Shit, my boss has got a golf cart that's nicer than them smart cars.
Probably faster.
Yeah, it's street legal. He's got an awesome golf cart, man. Just flat out. Oh my God, I'm not sure it might even have air conditioning on it. I think it might.
Oh, yeah, I've
It's
seen that.
decked out.
Yeah, I've seen golf carts with air conditioning before. It's like, what's the point? It's an open air vehicle. What are you going to air condition? Everything?
No, I can see it though. If you're out in the middle of a golf course and you're like 7 holes deep into an 18-hole round and you're sitting there blazing in the middle of the sun on a fairway, the air conditioner would come in handy.
Or if you're just rich and spoiled.
Well, that too, but I didn't want to like rub it into your guys' faces.
Hey, if they option it, might as well buy one fully optioned. I mean, I forget what it was. I literally think he has like, I saw it when it was brand new and still had plastic on it, and he added a bunch to it. I think he gave like 12,500 for this golf cart before he added stuff on it. So if you're gonna get them top of the line, you might as well get top of the line. It's not like a golf cart you hop into. It's kind of made like the 4-wheel drive kind. Nice rims and stuff, but it's got nice fenders, and I think it had like little small like fiberglass doors on it and everything. Man, it was a on the road golf cart.
The other
Never
day,
ever get a base model. Always get fully loaded, or as close to fully loaded as you can find.
the wife and I went somewhere. I feel we were going somewhere here in town, and there was a guy in his pickup truck, and he had a trailer on the back. On the trailer was a side by side with a little window air conditioner unit in it.
Yeah.
I guess he had it plugged into a battery converter pack.
There's a couple guys here that drive them on the streets. Just run down to the local stores and the little diner thing. But one guy's got a golf cart that's got a 57 Chevy body on it. And the other one's got a golf cart that's got something like I don't know, made to look like an old Rolls Royce or an old gangster's car from the 30s or something like that. He's got one made up like that, man. That 57 Chevy's pretty cool.
What do you say by the fully loaded squid versus the base models?
2 reasons. 1, no regrets. Later on, you're like, oh man, I should have got this. No, you've already got it. 2, resale value. Somebody out there will be like, oh, well, you don't want
Those are two solid points.
because that's more you have to pick. Whatever. By the time that sort of stuff starts breaking on a regular basis, you should be looking at getting out of it and getting another one.
Solid reasoning.
Yeah, those are 2 good points you came up with instantly, man. Those are good beliefs. Like, you're always better off. Certain circumstances in your car, you could skip one thing or another, but the base model of anything from a car to a firearm to your home to a TV, anything, it's really not your best choice. It's just appealing to those that look at the price tag before they look at anything else. That's all.
Yeah, the thing about, I'm speaking from experience. There have been times where I'm going, I'll never use this. I'm never going to want this. This is too complicated. What am I ever going to do with this? As I get older, I find out more and more of these things come in handy. They come in useful. Or I learn how to use it, get a clue, learn how to use it, and I'm good. It's like smartphones. I was the last one out of all my friends to get a smartphone. I'll never have one of them damn things. Now I can't live without it. Once I figured out how to use it, figured out how useful it was, yeah. And if you want to be somebody who likes the simpler things and all that, that's fine. That's fine. But I think what you're doing is you're limiting yourself. Now, you don't have to change your ways because of what I say. I changed my ways through my own experience. The first time I got something nicer, the first time I borrowed somebody's car, the first time I started looking into seeing what you could do with a smartphone, getting into social media, other things like that, just started realizing having this is nice, having this saves time, having this is comfortable. It's nice having a heated steering wheel in the winter. Never, ever would I want that sort of thing. I remember, some of the guys were saying, you need to put heated grips on your bike. I'm like, why? I'll never need anything like that, man. I tell you what, heated seats even better, but somebody else might go, I'm not paying the extra money for that, or they always buy a used car, so they buy one that has broken heated seats to begin with. It's like, whatever. But I'm saying that as you get older, you kind of look for some of the more comfortable things in life. It doesn't mean that you're going to get fat and out of shape, or that's more of a choice. That ain't about, having more conveniences or not doing things the hard way on purpose. But I think that if you've never had it, then you don't know what you're missing. And if you don't want to know, you don't need to know. Like, there are certain guns I haven't shot because it's like, damn, I don't need another caliber in my life. I've got enough. I'm sure they're really nice, but I've avoided them because I'm like, man, I don't want to like this thing and then buy it later. But I've had other people introduce me to this brand or this item, or suggest I go visit this place or whatever, and then I get to see what it's like. I'm not saying that you have to do that with everything in your life, or that's even for you. But for me, I found that certain things, I'm kind of glad that I guess I discovered something, right? And other things, no, I'm good where I'm at. So don't think I don't understand somebody who's like, I don't ever want it because I don't ever want to like it.
Oh, I got quiet in here.
Oh, I was just thinking one of the greatest things they've come up with is I really like air conditioned seats. Those are pretty sweet.
Heated seats. I love the heated seats in my wife's car.
Yeah, I don't so much do the heated seats. My Buick's got them. I don't ever hardly even flip that on. But I don't have one, but I've been in them and seen cars that got the perforated vented seats that blows the air conditioning through it. Oh, that is so relaxing.
I remember the first time I went into the design studio, and the guy said, sit down in this, just hit that button. And I'm like, what the hell? And he goes, air conditioned seats, dude. I'm going, nobody's ever going to buy this. Nobody's ever going to want this shit. Heated seats I get on a cold day, but nobody's. He goes, trust me, we're going to sell tons of these. Years later, what do you know? So sometimes those ideas and innovation work, and other times they're big flops. We can think of some guns that were innovative that didn't sell.
Tell you what, you're out walking around shopping with the family and shit like that at the mall or what have you all day. You get in the car, you turn those heated seats on. Oh, it feels so good on your lower back. We done past PG a long time ago, Rob.
Well, Rob says Squib wants a toilet in his truck. I thought it was Rob that wanted a toilet.
Yeah,
in
that
his
was
car.
Rob. That was Rob that wanted poo-powered cars.
Projection. That's projection.
No, I'm the guy that holds it until I get there, so I really don't need a toilet in the vehicle. Now, if I had an airplane, so wife said, I don't want you to buy a plane unless it's got a toilet in it. I'm going, really? Do you know how much more that's going to increase the cost of the airplane? Because there was a time where I was looking at getting an airplane. That ship sailed. Oh, well. You win some, you lose some. But, yeah, I'm like, I can afford this, I can afford this, I can barely afford this, I can afford this. What, you want to have a toilet in it? Now suddenly it's like, okay, it's off the table. And then some other things change in my life, and I'm going, well, I guess I'm glad I didn't get the airplane because I would have been selling it about right now. But in a vehicle, I don't see the reason for it. But when you're in midair and you're like, man, now we got to land,
Wait a second. What kind of plane are we talking about? Are we talking about like a prop plane, like a two-seater, bi-wing, or are we talking about like a private jet?
At one point, I was looking at buying a MiG, but the upkeep on it was what would get me. I could afford it, but I couldn't afford to maintain it. And then just there were so many problems with, because there are lots of privately owned MiGs in America, but it's just like, so I said, all right, let's knock it down to a prop plane. And I was looking at something simple. Let's just go with something like a two-seat trainer, like a T-28 or a T-6 or something like that. And, it's got to have a bathroom in it. All right. So then I start looking at maybe getting something like trying to see if I could find an old S2 or C1 or something like that. And I'm like, damn, those things are too big, and the maintenance and but now it's big enough that you can actually put a bathroom in the fucking thing, right? It's that big. It's like, okay, that's out of. So then I start looking at something that maybe we could squeeze some sort of flip up seat with a toilet on it, like on a boat, like a Beechcraft Bonanza or something, like a 4-seater or something. And even that was like the time between overhauling the engines and having to get like on some of them. Some of the aircraft I was looking at, you have to have a twin engine rating, which is more. Now you got two. I looked at a Cessna Skymaster. I really like that one, but I'd have to have 3 different ratings in order to fly it, and there weren't a lot of mechanics that work on it. And it's just, I even looked at home builds. I even went all the way down to home builds. There's a company in Troy, Michigan that makes a 2-seat, but you can't fit a toilet in there. It's like, oh, forget it. Just forget it. But that was back when I had a lot more money. Now it's not, and I could work harder and make the money for it. I don't even care anymore.
I'm absolutely shocked to find out that those private little, like, I don't want to disrespect the flyers, but I'll just use the word little hobby planes. I had no idea you could put a toilet in those things.
Kingpin, you go ahead and disrespect the Philadelphia Flyers all you want.
Oh yeah, screw that. That's not even a real hockey team. You might as well call them the Penguins.
Mm-hmm. I said you can insult the Flyers, not the Penguins. Come on now.
Same thing.
Not quite.
I'm thinking I kind of got to agree with Mrs. Squibload. I used to work for a company, and we had a little small private plane, and used to have to fly in it to Tennessee. That was a 3-hour flight each way. And even though I'm a man and you're a normal man, and I don't have issues with potty breaks in the vehicle or anything or in my daily life, but every single time, man, getting that little plane take off, 15 minutes later, I gotta piss bad, and I gotta hold it for 3 hours. I mean, it never failed. Maybe it was the altitude or something that did that to me. But yeah, I can understand the need for a little porta potty thing in an airplane, most definitely.
Now, see, I've changed my mind, and I was of this mindset a long time ago, but having worked on them, I know how expensive they are to maintain. I changed my mind and said, if the wife ever wins the lottery, I'm getting a helicopter, because I can just land somewhere and be like, go in them bushes, right? I don't need to have a porta-john in it. I can land anywhere and be like, I could land in the Walmart parking lot and say, go in there, use the restroom, I don't know, go buy something and come back out to the chopper, right? I mean, it's not quite as easy as that, but it kind of is. So if I had lottery money, we could. I wonder if we could find a place where I could fly over and we could shoot out of the helicopter.
I've got a place. If you put us in a helicopter with a pilot that'll let us shoot out the window, I've got a ranch that we can shoot out the helicopter.
Can't you do that in Alaska?
Can you guys all see the interior chat? The one in the private chat with StreamYard.
Yeah, I'm over there, but there's nothing in it.
I know I'm getting ready to type something in there right now. I don't want to say the person's name out loud.
Okay.
Okay, I don't know why you typed that in there, but private conversations on air aside, yeah. Now with a travel trailer, you can't have anybody in it when you're towing it, but with a Winnebago, you can just go around inside there no matter what. It doesn't. You don't have to be like seat belted in the whole time it's being driven, right?
No, like if you're in the back of a Winnebago, like in the living compartment, you're free to move around. And stuff
But you
like that.
can't have passengers in a trailer, in like a fifth wheel trailer, while you're driving the truck. Everybody has to be up in the truck, right?
Yeah, you cannot
Yeah,
have people
yeah.
in a camper when you're pulling it. No.
So if you wanted a toilet while you were driving, just get an RV, right?
Yeah.
Don't they have conversion vans that have toilets in them?
I imagine they might.
I think
Like
the
Rob
RV.
mentioned, there's a camping potty that you can get.
I think the RV is probably the best way to go because you can tow a regular car behind it. You can live in it while you're driving, like physically moving down the road, and then you can just park your house and unhook your car and go drive around if you need stuff. Clover's out there.
How did this chat turn into taking a fucking piss while you're in the traveling?
Rob,
Rob,
Rob. It's like it did the last time. It's Rob. Rob's got taking a piss while on the road on his mind. We know what his kink is now, don't we?
I come visit
Well, he should
all
be
of
thinking about taking a piss on the road. He's always taking a piss when he's live on air.
I'd come visit y'all more often, but man, I just hate having to stop to go potty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're the
Just
one that
turn the
brought
heat-
up toilet in the car, Rob. So
Just turn the heat up full blast in the summer. Roll the windows up.
Now, if I did have a helicopter,
sweat it
would
out.
Outcast come flying with me, or would he be like, "I'm not getting in that thing"?
isn't he afraid to fly? I mean, he doesn't fly anywhere.
You know, I mean, is it a afraid to fly thing, or is it that he doesn't trust me? I'll text him later and ask him.
Helicopters and airplanes have keys too, Rob.
no, you gotta spin the blades from the helicopter just like the old prop planes to get them started.
You pull a rope like a lawnmower.
Yeah, that's exactly how it works.
Or one of
Good
them
luck
with
with that.
like a really big zip tie that you gotta like, the
Oh,
phones
yeah.
that we used to have.
Oh, we had those little helicopter blade thingies that you did that with.
There you go. It's gotta be.
They even had a GI Joe toy one that actually was a helicopter. That you did that. It was a one man little like helicopter thingy-majigger with one of those
The Fang?
circle helicopter blades. And
Wasn't it the Fang? That was their little
No,
gyrocopter?
not the Cobra, not the Cobra Fang. This was a GI Joe itself. This is I had one of them, and it came with a figure that was called Major Altitude. It was just it strapped to the guy's back. You know, you had the little peg you put in the hole, then it had two like rubber straps that came down over him, and you just pulled the rip cord, and they would fly up in the air.
I think I know what you're talking about.
Major Altitude? Seriously?
Yeah, that was his
Is
name.
this like Spaceballs? Major.
And his name was Major Altitude, and he was a warrant officer.
A warrant officer, ain't that the Navy?
Good old GI Joe.
Squib
Now
gets
that
what I'm
would be
talking about.
something though. How about something about the size of a thing? One of those gyrocopters.
Yeah, it's like that. It's like a
Those
gyrocopter.
that would be kind of. Now I'm going to tell you one thing: you will not survive a crash in that thing. You're done.
No.
Or an auto gyro. I mean, an auto gyro. That would be. Yeah, you could still auto rotate with an auto gyro. So maybe, but I mean, it's just open cockpit and a crash helmet for reasons. You know.
All right, let's think about this. If you could go like Inspector Gadget, but realistically, so you'd have basically your belt on, and there'd be shoulder harness with the pole going up the back and the helicopter blades, folded down. And then you push the button and the helicopter blades fold out, and then you could just personally helicopter yourself around town. They do it with the jetpacks now, and those are terribly dangerous and unreliable, so the helicopter blades has got to be safer.
It's 2022. I thought we was all supposed to have like flying cars like the Jetsons by now.
Yeah, here's what I was talking about. The figure's Major Altitude. We had that little helicopter that you put on his back and had the ripcord, and you would attach to this thing here. Put the ripcord through there, and you pull it, and the helicopter would take off and fly.
And now we know, and knowing's half the battle.
I think Leonardo da Vinci drew that like 500 years ago, did he?
Well, something like that. But this thing actually worked. He would actually take off, go pretty high. Made it. It would go. We took it to my friend's backyard and did that, and it went up to like the attic window, third story window of his house, or the house he was living in. We were always shocked that it landed without breaking anything.
What kind of rifles he got there? M4 with a VCOG and a
Oh, that's a full size scope. That's a full size
crazy,
rifle scope. Yeah.
crazy ass stock on it. What is that?
Yeah. I have no idea.
Is that New York compliant stock or something?
No, because it's the hand grip's not attached to it. Yeah, that was the toy I was talking about.
So, what time tomorrow is the wrestling adventure?
Pre-show starts at 7, and there are going to be at least 3 matches on the pre-show. It's not WWE where the pre-show is nothing but them running their mouth. Buck says, put Honda on the side of a chopper and Rob will go. Maybe you're right.
Yeah, I got my eyes on 2 particular models. If I was to get a helicopter, you could fit 5 in there, 4 more comfortably, but you could fit 2 in the front and 3 in the back. It does have a luggage compartment, and it's small enough that I could store it in a lot of places. It's light enough that I could tow it with my truck, put it on a trailer and tow it with my truck. But there aren't a lot of places that are certified to work on the power plant or the airframe because it's foreign. Oh no, I didn't buy American. I guess not this time. But wife's got to win the lottery first. I better give her some more money to play.
Do you guys have that Powerball and Mega Millions out in Michigan?
They might. We got it here. Man, sometimes that gets pretty high, man. Sometimes close to $1 billion. At least
Isn't it,
several hundred million. You know.
isn't it supposed to be like $1 billion right now?
Well, I have no idea, but maybe I need to go buy a ticket.
I just heard people say that. I just keep hearing those words, and it's supposed to be a lot of money.
Hey, back in the day, in the '80s, in the mid '80s, um, back then, like $100,000 lotto was like $1 million today. You know what I mean? But my mom played the Ohio lottery all the time, and she was sitting outside in the yard. She was sitting on a lawn chair, the kind that folded out in the bed. You know what I mean, like the beach lawn chair. She was sitting outside. She started messing around in the grass, and there was clovers down there. And she kept picking around, and she found a 4-leaf clover. And she went in the house. Back then, we had to have the newspaper, get the lotto numbers. She ran in the house and checked her lotto numbers on when she found that 4-leaf clover. And he had to pick 6 numbers, to win the mega thing. Well, she got 5 numbers out of the 6, and she had $5,000. And like $5,000 in the 1984, 1985, that was a good chunk of money, man. We were doing good. She was very happy.
I won $50 in the scratch off once.
Yeah, I can't win off them scratch offs. I know people that practically live off that, man. Waste money, addicted to gambling, scratch off tickets, buy. Man, they hit $100 tickets, $20 tickets, $50, like constantly. I could never win more than a couple bucks, a free ticket or something. Is about all I've ever won.
I don't remember ever winning anything off one of those stupid things.
I know some people play like a pick 3 and a pick 4 number, like daily thing, and before noon and afternoon, and all
Hmm.
these weird little tickets that they only pay like 50 cents a dollar for, and they win quite often. Decent money,
Yeah,
$100 or whatever for a dollar ticket.
yeah, I've went on the pick three before, but up in when we lived in PA. How my stepfather, he would ask me what numbers to pick. I would pick winning numbers more often than he would. He kicked himself the one time. So I told him play James Bond's number and play it straight, not box. He's like, well, that ain't never going to hit. I was like, I'm telling you, play James Bond 007 and play it straight, and it's going to hit. He didn't listen. It hit. He could have had $500 if he'd have listened.
We had a person here one time on the news. They had a big court case. Took them a year or longer to get into court, so it was always on the news. But they played the lotto, and they played like the same number like every week, every time for years, right? I guess they could prove that. Uh, they went to buy the ticket one day, and you know how the irony is, you know what I mean, in karma. They went to the store to buy a ticket, and they had like 15 minutes time left, to buy the ticket, which you're allowed to, and the store wouldn't sell them a ticket for that lotto. Said that they couldn't do it, but in reality, they can do it up to like a minute ahead of time or 5 minutes ahead of time or something like that. They refused to sell them a lotto ticket, and those numbers hit that night, and it was for several $1,000,000. And you would think, oh well, bygones. No, they fought it, and it took, like I said, years, and they got into court and they won, and they had to give that person their lotto winnings.
Yeah, the gas station where my wife and I both used to work at, the lottery machine would shut off before like 5 minutes before Powerball drawing. The machine would literally shut off. You couldn't sell a ticket because the machine would lock, and it literally shut down the machine. You couldn't sell any kind of tickets until after the drawing. Like it was 5 minutes before it shut down, and then 5 minutes after it would start back. It would unlock, and you could sell tickets again.
Oh, I'll agree with Rob out there. Lotto women or lotto people are the worst at the gas station, man.
Hmm.
They are the worst. They can't even do. Why do they play lotto when they can't do math? They sit back here. Give me a 14. Give me two fives. How much do I got left? How much? Okay. Give me some number fours. You know what I mean? They don't even know what they got. They're just gonna spend everything that they want. Take up time. They just stare at shit. I I just can't stand a lot of people. I've been a long believer they should have a separate line and a separate register just for the lotto people.
We did. The gas station I worked at, we did. There was a separate line that was just for the lottery machine. The supermarket I worked at was the same way. There was a separate line just for the lottery machine.
Yeah, they don't have that around here, but it seems like common sense because no one likes waiting in line for a lotto person. Hell, we wait in line. If you're paying for a lot of stuff or you're shopping, nobody pays any attention, but everybody gets annoyed by the lotto people.
Look, we've got the separate registers and all that kind of stuff here. The problem with that is you still got one attendant at the gas station.
Well, no,
Unless you're at like a big chain gas station like a Sheets or something like that where they got 15, 20 pumps. But if you're like at a gas station that's got 4 or 5 pumps or something like that, there's only one employee there. So when that one employee is still helping Betsy get her 4 box, 3 straight draws, you still got to wait.
the gas station we worked at, there was always two people on duty, except the overnight shift. And if the Powerball was some ridiculous amount, there was a third person just to work the lottery machine. And when I was working at the supermarket in Pittsburgh, you always knew when the Pennsylvania Lotto was some really big amount because it was hard to get into the store because the line into the lottery machine will be going out the front door. I was actually late for work one day because of the damn lotto line. Literally could not get in the front door to the store. What made it worse, it was food stamp day. So normally when the line was like that, you would just go in the outdoor. Couldn't even get out in the outdoor because there's so many people coming out with carts full of groceries because it was fucking food stamp day. That was a fun day. I had to go all the way to the back and get let into the store by the manager. I actually went to the payphone out front and called the manager. Like, I can't get in. He's like, what do you mean you can't get in? There's too many people coming out the front door, and the lotto line is going out the front door. He's like, okay, meet me back in stock. I'll let you in through the fire door. That's how I got into the store that day.
Oh, I just had to deal with my dog for a minute, man. I swear this dog's got multiple personalities. He is hell on wheels all day long. It comes nighttime, bedtime, or he's tired. He's just a little sweet, lovingest little thing. But during the day, man, he is hell on wheels. I've been saying he's multiple personalities. Sometimes I play with him. I ask, which dog am I dealing with now? Because he's multiple. Sometimes he's rowdy. Sometimes he's a pussycat.
Anyway, get back to my store. We get to the front of the store, and he's just standing there, like, how are we getting customers in the store? I was like, right now, Jim, you're not. You couldn't get, nobody could get in the front door. And it wasn't like the modern supermarkets, how they got the double doors in the front. This was a single door to come in and a single door to go out. You could not get any people into the store at all. It was next to impossible. I think the solution he came up with is one of the baggers stood at the exit door and was basically playing traffic cop, waving people in and telling people when they could come out. Like at a road work area. Okay, you come, you go, or a cross guard or what have you. Because the lotto line was so damn long.
Flagger.
Yeah, like a flag person, man. The front door. That was the craziest I ever saw, that lotto line. That was like at the time the record for the PA lottery, and I forget what the hell how much it was. It was like maybe $50 million. But again, that was the record at the time for the PA state lottery. That was before Pennsylvania joined in on the Powerball things. I think they're in on that too now, aren't they? Those.
I gotta get a job with Rob, man. He says his coffee break is over. He's been out in the chat for 2 hours.
Mm-hmm. Well, he's just working at home doing something. He ain't actually working.
That's how I work, man. I spend a couple hours a day just sitting in a truck, drinking Pepsi and smoking cigarettes.
Yeah, does that count? That's the time you're driving back and forth to the job, though, right?
No. I work about an hour, and I take a 15-minute to a half-hour break. Then I go work about an hour. Then I take a break. I divide the house up in sections. Like once I cut the whole downstairs, or most of it, break time. Before I cut the upstairs, break time. Before I start nailing downstairs, break time. Downstairs is nailed, I'm going upstairs. Oh, break time. Got everything done but the stair steps. Oh, take a break, then I'll do the stairs.
Yeah,
Not as young as I used to be.
Well, what he's actually doing is he's sitting out there in the truck with the floor plan, trying to figure out how to do his work around the other idiots that aren't doing their jobs when they're supposed to.
Mainly out in the truck playing on my cell phone, man. YouTubing, emailing. But the thing is, though, when I work fast. I work fast and hard, and I get shit done. You just couldn't do what I do nonstop. You couldn't go 2-3 hours without a break doing the work I do. You would be. It would be like running a marathon nonstop. You have to stop.
Doing patches can be seriously boring, especially if you're in a place that doesn't have good cell phone reception. Because you fix the hole, put mud on the hole, and then you could put 50 fans on it or none, and you're still just gonna just sit there and wait. And just wait. And it's only 1 or 2 patches, so you're expected to get it done in a day. And what theoretically should take an hour takes 4 or 5. And you're just sitting there watching drywall mud dry.
Now, you guys know how Rob's always telling us how great his Honda is. He had to tear half the car apart to remove a brake light.
That sounds about right.
Doesn't sound that great of a car to me, Rob.
He's probably replaced the whole thing, like the whole assembly and everything, not just the bulb.
I take mine down to the dealer and somebody else does it for me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm getting old and lazy, but I can still fix things if I need to. Thing is, when I fix stuff all day at work, I don't want to go home and fix stuff too.
I'll say this about Honda. It's probably very much true about any of the other manufacturers. But I worked over at Honda for a while. And I'd say there's 5,000-6,000 people a shift. But you don't really have 5,000-6,000 people who's dedicated to their job and making a product. You more or less have 5,000 or 6,000 people that want to do as little work as possible, complain that they're not paid enough, and at least 50% of them's main focus on their mind is they can't wait to break time because that giant parking lot looks like Love Connection. Everybody there messing around with other people at work there and stuff like that. I would not say that quality's job one over there.
Yeah. Rob says he removed it to do the tank correctly. It don't matter why you removed it. The fact that you have to take half the car apart to remove it's the problem. You have to take out the back seat, side panel, and the rear speaker deck cover just to get a brake light out.
I'm sitting there thinking, it's sure a shame if you broke some of those clips while he was taking
What do you need tinted windows for, man? Tinted windows on a little Honda Civic makes you look like a gangster.
He tinted his lights
Oh.
instead of buying light covers like a good Mexican would do. He tinted.
That's what I was gonna say. Damn. Now you went from gang member to the Mexican gang. I will say that lately, since things are so relaxed at our southern border, so to speak, the vehicles at work have gotten. They've been imported here from the southern regions, and boy, they stick out like a thumb. You talk about like roller brush painted racing stripes.
Are they
Every
are they
little
full-
plastic chrome doodad that they sell at the cash register at AutoZone that tapes onto the side like the three Buick, that the three Buick little circles up on the fender. I just love seeing them on like a Dodge pickup truck. It's crazy. Little
are they
Kias and
upholstered in
Hondas
blankets?
got mud flaps that stick out an inch wider than the tires. You just see a lot of stuff.
Are they upholstered
No.
in blankets? No, none upholstered
No,
in blankets.
man. The interior upholsteration, Cheech and Chong stuff's really not in style anymore. But damn, do they
Oh
love
man,
their
I've seen enough of them.
they
Going to
love the
Go to Northern Virginia, you see the blanket upholstery, especially in the Winchester area.
boy. They sure do love that plastic chrome two-sided tape stick on goodness, man. They cover their stuff with that shit, man. Or they take a perfectly good car like a Mustang or Camaro and they throw a body kit on it that makes it
Mm-hmm.
look like a Honda, and it's
Mm-hmm.
all loose and scratched up and tore off because they built their car to be an inch off the ground in a state that has 12-inch deep potholes.
Mm-hmm.
It's just it's something, man. But a lot of racing stripes, a lot of
Yeah, they love
multicolored vehicles.
the loud mufflers too. Not the good sounding loud mufflers, just the loud ones that are just loud for the purpose of being loud.
And for some reason, even though I'm in Ohio, I would say at least 25% of every license plate where I work is from Texas. For some reason, and it's been like that for a long time. I don't know if they get. Well, I know a lot of people go to Texas to buy a better truck. It's not rusted too, but just about all the workers, man, they have plates that either say Texas or Tennessee on them.
Yeah, down in Winchester, they have their own taxi company, and the taxis generally look like something out of Cheech and Chong.
Oh, and they sure don't mind putting their Spanish flag, Mexican flag, or whatever on their cars either.
Mm-hmm.
Windshield, corner of the
Now,
windshield or this or that.
if Mexico's so great, why the fuck did they leave?
Yeah, exactly.
I always love that. It's so easy to be proud of your crappy ass country when you live in America.
Mm-hmm. The whole "Viva la Raza." Well, take your sorry ass back to the Raza and get the fuck out.
I will say there is also a recurring theme above around most of the people that I work with, and believe it or not, I don't care what CNN says. I don't care what the Democrats think they have or whatever. Most people that I'm around are strongly fuck Joe Biden.
Mm-hmm.
Whether they can actually go vote or not, it's a different issue. But a lot of them is fuck Joe Biden. Uh, a
I
lot
know
of
a
them.
lot of illegal immigrants too. Well, I used to anyway, and they all hated Obama.
Mm-hmm.
And they all told me, they were like, "Look, he said he was going to give us all this passes to citizenship and all this kind of stuff, and he lied. Everything he told us, he lied about."
Yeah, I don't believe. Well, I do believe. I see it everywhere. But no matter where you come from or who you are, I don't believe anybody is happy with $5 gas. Uh,
No.
I believe we all come to a common ground, no matter what color your hair is or whatever. Nobody likes $5 gas.
Well, if you think about, if they got what is there, like 10,000 people a day, 20,000 people a day coming across the border, like 200,000 a week or whatever it is, a lot of those people are going to end up homeless and shelter because they didn't plan for that much. It got out of hand and they can't stop it. So they're just going to move all these people in and put them right on the street somewhere because they can only house so many of them. They can only shelter so many of them. They can only put so many of them on welfare and food stamps. Sooner or later, they're going to start dropping them off in the middle of the desert and just driving the bus away from
Yeah. So how many did Texas send up to DC? Anybody ever get a final count on that?
No, that's been blown out for 30 years, man.
No, I
Maryland, Maryland,
remember when
Virginia, and DC has been the uh, test grounds for all the illegal immigrants all over the place.
I'm talking about recently, the one that when Abbott was going to put all the illegals on a bus and send them up to DC.
I don't know. I know a bunch of buses showed up, but I don't know like how many there were and all that kind of stuff. That's why I always love when border livers say, "Oh, you don't even live near the border. Why do you care? Why do you have an opinion?" Well, come to my neighborhood and I'll show you why.
You
Uh,
know,
at
I
this
think it.
point, the entire country's on the border.
Yeah, I don't know about that. That's just a new stunt to bus them to Washington and think you're thinking. You know, I get it, but that's kind of a childish move. That's not addressing a problem or making a proper defense of the points you're trying to make or whatever. That's more political theater doing that kind of stuff.
And Krabby makes a good point. It the left can't meme is basically what we're saying.
Mhm.
And that guy tried to pull, some youngster stuff and haha, we're gonna get you, we'll show you. But just like Krabby said, all the people in DC were like, awesome, that's great. You saved us the trouble. We
Mhm.
wanted them here anyway, and then we'll just ship them all across the country from here. So thanks for giving them a ride.
Yeah. Anybody else have anything else to talk about? If not, start wrapping it up, I guess. You probably got to work in the morning, right, Kingpin?
Yeah.
What about you, Jason? You work tomorrow?
I got a little bit to accomplish at work. Nothing major though. Only about 3 hours or something.
Oh,
I'd like to go shooting tomorrow for at least a couple hours.
anything you want to plug or anything before we head out of here?
No, just everybody come back. See you tomorrow for the wrestling adventure.
Well, you, Kingpin.
July 2A Appreciation Month. Tell all your friends.
And if you haven't done so yet, when we're done here, go over to the channel and watch the uh, video I did on the Core Essentials leather gun belt and see what I thought of that and whatnot. And until tomorrow night, have a good night, everybody. We will catch y'all later.
God bless America.
Space Cowboy.